Hello everyone, this is JK. Today we are going to discuss about design process of connecting rod. In the previous lecture, we are already completed the theoretical points related to connecting rod, like a function and materials, and after that, what are the stresses developed in the connecting rod. These type of concepts were already completed in previous lecture. In this lecture, we are going to focus on what are the formulas used to design the connecting rod and what are the steps involved in the connecting rod and what are the assumptions, that means which type of assumptions we are considered to design a connecting rod. These concepts today we are going to focus on here. Let's see without any delay what are the steps involved in the connecting rod. So here it is the first step, load due to steam or gas pressure. So it is denoted by F suffix E, that is equal to pi by 4 d square into P. It is the formula to find out the load due to steam or gas pressure acting on the connecting rod. Here we know that D is the diameter of the piston, and P is the maximum pressure developed in the cylinder. So this is about the first step here, and go to the next step. So it is the second step here, inertia forces acting on the connecting rod. So it is denoted by F suffix I. So that is equal to cos theta plus 2 theta by L by R. It is the formula to find out the inertia forces acting on the connecting rod. So let's see, WR, it indicates the weight of the reciprocating parts, into omega it is the angular velocity, and R is the radius of crank, and after that theta is the crank angle. So here we know weight of the reciprocating parts to acceleration due to gravity, that is the mass of reciprocating parts. And after that, how we get the omega here? 2 pi n by 60, so radians per second, and here n is the speed of the crank. And after that, here R indicates the radius of the crank. It is the radius of crank. And next, here we doesn't know what is the theta. Theta, it is the crank angle. So how we get that theta, or how we are consider theta here? We know very well, when the crank in TDC position, it is the TDC. When crank in TDC position, theta equal to 0. Why? Because on the crank in TDC position, the angle of crank is, we are consider 0. So that's why here theta is 0. If you find out here, L is the length of the stroke and R is the radius of the crank. With the help of L by R ratio, length of the stroke to radius of the crank ratio, we are going to find out these term by using the design data book. I will explain that with the help of one practical problem. It is easy to that consideration of cos theta plus cos 2 theta by L by R value. Okay, when we know cos this term value, it is easy to find out the inertia force acting on the connecting rod. So this is about the second step here. Go to the next step. It is the third step. So crippling or buckling load. So let's see, it is indicated by FCR. So that is equal to SC into A whole divided by 1 plus small a L by K, so whole square. So it is the formula to find out the crippling or buckling load. With the help of this crippling or buckling load, we are going to find out the cross section area of the connecting rod. So before that, let's see what are the terms involved here. That SC is the compressive load here, and A is the area of the cross section, and after that A is the Rankine's constant. Rankine's constant, and after that K is the least radius of variation. And one more thing is there, for the purpose of crippling or buckling load, we are using the Rankine's formula. So why we are prefer only Rankine's formula? Because we have a different type of formulas are there. Euler's formula and Johnson formula. In case of Euler's formula, it is only suitable for short column. It is only suitable for long columns. And in case of Johnson's formula, it is only suitable for short columns. That's why the Rankine's formula is suitable for both long and short columns. So that's why we are preferred Rankine's formula to find out the crippling or buckling load. So let's see, it's the Rankine's constant. Here, how we are consider the compressive load. For that, to consider the compressive load, we are using condition of the materials or Rankine constant value. By using these two values, one is the Rankine's constant or maybe one is the material condition. With the help of those values, we are going to consider the compressive load here with the help of design data book. And after that, least radius of variation also we are consider based on the shape of the connecting rod. And we know L is the length of the stroke here. So this is about that crippling or buckling load, and it is also a crippling or buckling load also defined as a design load. It is equal to the design load. That's why the Ft equal to Fg into Fs. We are already find out in the first step gas pressure load or steam pressure load, and Fs is the factor of safety. With the help of product of Fg and factor of safety, we get the design load. The design load equal to FCR. That crippling or buckling load, that is equal to what is we are design load, assume it is equal to a design load. So this is about the crippling or buckling load, and go to the next step. That is the axial load acting on the connecting rod. It is the fourth step here. So that axial load indicated by FA, that is equal to, it is equal to Fg. Why? Because what is the maximum gas pressure load acting on the connecting rod? It is also applicable for axial load. So that's why here the axial load acting on the connecting rod, it is equal to steam or gas pressure load. So this is about that fourth step. Go to the next step, that is the fifth step here. So let's see, it is the fifth step, induced maximum bending stress acting on the connecting rod. So it is indicated by SB. So let's see, SB, that is equal to M maximum by Z. Here that M maximum is the maximum bending momentum and Z is the section modulus. So let's see that M maximum is here. So it is the formula for M maximum, and Z is the section modulus. That section modulus we are considered based on the design data book for which type of, that means based on the shape of the connecting rod we are consider the section modulus here. So let's see M maximum. Here we know it is the A is the area of the cross section, and rho is the density of the material. That means which type of material we are consider and what is the density of that material. So this is about the rho, and we already find out the omega. It is the angular velocity, that is the 2 pi n by 60 radians per second. And after that, R is the radius of the crank and L is the length of the stroke. When we know these all terms, it is easy to find out the M maximum. When we know the M maximum, it is easy to find out what is the maximum bending stress induced on the connecting rod. So this is about the fifth step. Go to the next step, that is the sixth step here. Goals for connecting rod. So it is the sixth step, bolts for connecting rod begin. If you find out this one, here some minor steps, maybe 2 or 3 minor steps are involved here. So let's see what are they. It is the first one, maximum inertia force acting on the bolts. So it is indicated by FIM. So what about this FIM? That means maximum inertia force acting on the bolts. How we get the maximum inertia force acting on the bolts? If you find out, we are already discussed about the theta equal to 0. That means crank angle is here, we are considered 0 degrees at the time of crank in TDC position. In that condition, what is the inertia force acting on the connecting rod? it is equal to the maximum inertial force acting on the bolts. So that's why that FIM equal to Fi. Next step, that is the root diameter of the bolts. Let's see that one root diameter of the bolts. It is indicated by DC, that is equal to 2 FIM by pi into ST whole power 1 by 2. So it is the formula to find out the root diameter of the bolts. Let's see, we already find out that FIM equal to Fi. So why? Because we are considering FIM equal to Fi. That means the crank angle theta equal to 0 degrees. At this condition, what is the force acting on the, that means what is the inertia force acting on the connecting rod? That is equal to what is the maximum inertia force acting on the bolts. So that's why FIM equal to Fi we are consider at crank angle 0 degrees condition. Okay, and next one ST. Here one more unknown term ST, that is the tensile stress. How we get this tensile stress? That is the, it is the ratio between yield stress to factor of safety. So SY by FS. By doing this one, we get the tensile stress. Here, how we are consider the yield stress? That yield stress here consider by using the material condition. So which type of material we are prefer to design a connecting rod? Based on that material condition, we are consider the yield stress. Okay, when we know these two terms, it is easy to find out the root diameter of the bolts. Here one more step involved, that is the nominal diameter of the bolts. Nominal diameter of the bolts. So that is equal to, indicated by d suffix b, that is equal to 1.2 times of dc. When we know the root diameter, with the help of root diameter, we are going to find out the nominal diameter of the bolts. So this is about that sixth step, and go to the next step, that is the seventh step here. So that is the small end and big ends of the connecting rod. Here we are going to find out the required dimensions for small and big end of the connecting rods. Let's see what are they. First one is the diameter of the piston, diameter of the piston pin. So it is denoted by small d1, that is equal to Fc by Pb1 into L1. So it is the formula to find out the diameter of the piston pin. Here we know Fg is the maximum gas pressure or steam pressure. Due to that steam or gas pressure, what is the load acting on the connecting rod? And here Pb1 is the bearing pressure on piston pin, and L1 is the length of the piston pin. When we know that length of the piston pin and as well as the Pb1, that is the bearing pressure on the piston pin, it is easy to find out the D1, that means diameter of the piston pin. These two are the considerations values. By using the design data book, we are going to find out these two values. That means we are consider the two values. So if you find out here, so let's see, Pb1 equal to between the range of 12.5 to 15.4 Newton per mm square, and as well as at that condition L1, it is the length of the piston pin, that is equal to 1.5 to 2 times of D1. By substituting those two values, we get that. By substituting those two values, we get the diameter of the piston pin. Here L1 equal to 1.2 to 2 times of D1, and PV1 is a 12.8 to 15.4 Newton per mm square. These are the assumed values based on the design data book. So this is about that diameter of the piston pin. Similarly, what is the diameter of the crank pin? It is denoted by cap small d2, that is equal to Fz by Pb2 into L2. So it is the formula. Here we know Fg and Pb2 and L2 are the bearing pressure on the crank pin, and as well as L2 is the length of the crank pin. So these two are also consideration values. Let us use the design data book. PV2 is 10.8 to 12.6 Newton per mm square, and at that condition L2 equal to 1 to 1.2 time 1 to 1.25 times of D2. So these are the values for diameter of the crank pin. 1 to 1.25 times of D2, 10.8 to 12.6 Newton per mm square. So this is about diameter of crank pin, and few more steps, that means few more minor steps are involved for small end and big end of the connecting rod. So let's see what are they. So first one is the inner diameter of small end. So that inner diameter of the small end, it is denoted by IS. It is equal to what is the diameter of piston pin. And similarly for inner diameter of big end is, it is denoted by DIB, that is equal to diameter of the crank pin. So this is the inner diameter of small end and inner diameter of big end. And go to the next one. That is the outer diameter condition. Outer diameter of small end. So it is denoted by DOS, that is equal to D1 plus 2TB plus 2TM. So this is about the outer diameter of the small end. Here TB is the thickness of bush and TM is the marginal thickness. When we know the both values, it is easy to find out the outer diameter of the small end. The TB thickness of the bush between the range of 2 to 5 mm, and similarly TM is the 5 to 15 mm. So this is about the outer diameter of the small end. And similarly for outer diameter of big end, so let's see outer diameter of the big end, it is denoted by DOB, that is equal to D2 plus 2TB plus 2DB plus 2TM. So let's see, here we know D2 is the diameter of the crank pin, we are already derived that, and after that TB is the thickness of bush and the Tm is the marginal thickness. We already know these two values here, and after that here dV is the nominal diameter, that is equal to what we know, 1.2 times of dc. When we know the root diameter, it is easy to find out the outer diameter of the big end. So this is about inner and outer diameter of small and big end of the connecting rod. Here we have one more step, that is the final step, that is the thickness of uh, big end cap. The thickness of big end cap. So it is the eighth step here. Let's see that one. So it is denoted by T suffix C. So that is equal to FIM into L dash whole divided by B into SB C whole power 1 by 2. So it is the formula to find out the thickness of big end cap. Here we are already know FIM, that is equal to Fi, and what is the L dash? That L dash equal to, here that L dash is the distance between the bolt centers of the big end side. So that's why that L dash equal to D2 plus 2TB plus DB plus 2TM. So this is about that L dash. D2 it is the diameter of the crank pin, and TB is the thickness of bush, and the marginal thickness Tm is the, and we already know dB is the nominal diameter. And after that, what is the B here? That B is the width of the big end cap, that is equal to L2 minus 2 TB. Here we are already L2 is the length of the crank pin. We already know that one, and TB is the thickness of bush. By substituting these values, it is easy to find out the thickness of the big end cap. So these are the steps involved in the design of connecting rod. If you feel these are all the lengthy formulas, so it is not possible to remember, you don't worry about that. Just prefer the design data book. If you find out here, uh, so this is about the piston rod or connecting rod chapter 14 in a old edition of design data handbook of MD Jalaluddin. So let's see what we have discussed in this class. Each and every step are here. So let's see each and every steps. Load due to the steam or gas pressure, or maybe inertia force or reciprocating parts, crippling or buckling load, axial loads, and bolts for connecting rod big end, and thickness of the big end cap. So each and every step is involved here. You don't worry if you feel it is not possible to remember these all lengthy formulas. And these are the consideration what were discussed in case of compressive load, or maybe in case of section modulus and the least radius of gyration. And after that yield stress also, with the help of material condition we are consider the yield stress here. And finally cos theta plus cos 2 theta L by L by R. These value also consider with the help of this table, it is called inertia factor. With the help of inertia factor condition at the angle of crank angle, using the crank angle we are going to find out the inertia factor. I think it's better to discuss with the help of one practical problem how we are using the design data book. So this is about the today class. In the next class we are going to solve one model problem related to design of connecting rod. Thank you.